Right, so Alex, you're here to talk to me about the second essential for good research, which is the good research is focused on outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you?
I think we take a step back. Research is quite technical. And I mean, obviously, we're not brain surgeons, but I think it's fair to say it's one of the more technical disciplines within marketing services. Because it's technical, it's quite easy when you're kicking off a project to think methodology first and start getting into the weeds of that. We're almost hardwired as researchers to do that. But if I think about where we've done our best work and where we do our best work, it's definitely where we've got absolute laser clarity on what are the business outcomes we're trying to achieve from the research. So I think it's fair to say sometimes with research projects, there can be a very good granular and shared understanding of the research objectives, but when it comes to the business objectives, that level of granularity isn't quite so well explicit or mapped out. So I think what good looks like to us is where we kick off any piece of research is just to make sure we've got absolute clarity on what the business outcomes are that we're seeking to achieve. So that means working through things like not just why is the research needed, but why is it needed now? What gaps is it in filling that can't be already filled? What are the decisions it's playing into? Who is making those decisions? What do they need to make those decisions? Very specifically, what kind of outputs or information do they need? And I guess more widely, how do we judge whether the research has been a success? How do we measure that? So I think if you start with those kinds of outcomes, that can take you to a very different place. If you then start thinking about the methodology again, afresh, gives you much better focus on what you're really trying to get to, a much sort of more fine-grained approach to the methodology. What should your deliverables look like, and so on. I think in a nutshell, good research is absolutely clear about its purpose. That's really what it's about.
So to me, if I sum all of that up, it puts me in mind of a quote from Lewis Carroll's Alice Through the Looking Glass, which is that if you want to get to the mountain over there, you've got to walk in the opposite direction. So you start from the end, and you work back to the beginning.
In sort of reverse engineering in that way, that's not a natural thing to do for anyone, and I think particularly not for researchers, but you've almost got to force yourself to do that, and that really is the discipline.